I'm here today with Tony Larimer, Sales and Marketing Director at SATA, and he's going to talk about the new paint guns from SATA.
All right, well, thanks, Jay. So with this, the gun that we're going to talk about is our new one called the SATA Jet X, and it's a revolutionary new design for SATA. Because we've got, obviously the gun shape is unique for us. It still has some SATA features like having the hook on top and everything that looks like SATA, but we've added some really cool features. Now the one I have here is our top of the line version. It's called the SATA Jet X Digital Pro. And when we talk about the Digital Pro, that's referring to what's at the back of this, which is our new Atom X Pro gauge. And it has so many options that are super cool. But with this one, if you're not going to want to upload it to your phone and track all kinds of data and use that information, we have simpler models. So I'll show you those first, and then we'll come back to show you all the features on this.
Sounds good.
So the one hanging here is just called our Jet X Basic. It's an incredible spray gun. The gun sprays with all of our new technology. However, it does not have the ability to put a digital gauge in the back of it. So it's meant to hang a gauge off the bottom of the gun. It also does not have a quick change trigger. You have to use a Torx wrench to take off the trigger. Where what's really cool about all of the rest of the models, including this one, we have our gauge attaches to the rear. This is called, and we have a plate that would cover this, and you can buy that as called digital ready. So you can get it so that you could add an Atom X like we have here, or an Atom X Pro to that gun. So that's a second level up. But when we get into this model, what I want to show you is this quick change trigger. So on the front of this gun, there's a button that I literally just press that, and my trigger clicks right off. So now it's super easy to clean the gun. We can add grease to the needle at the needle packing, but it's also nice because in this trigger is your fluid tip wrench is built right into your trigger.
Oh, wow.
So when I have to take off my fluid nozzle, I literally can just screw it loose, pop my trigger back on, and that's done. So that's a cool feature. And we only do that on the digital ready or the digital versions. We made that trigger out of a composite, and it's a polyurethane mixed with a carbon fiber, so it's super durable, holds up to any thinners or solvents, but it's super lightweight. And the other thing we did was make this air cap incredibly lightweight. So this will snap apart, but you can feel it in your hand, but it weighs absolutely nothing. And what's really nice about that also is as a painter, if you do drop and hit that ring, I mean, it'll bounce off the floor. It doesn't deform, so you can put it back on your gun without having to replace an air cap ring. So that's pretty nice. And these just snap back together. So the biggest benefits, I think, on this gun obviously are going to be the sprayability, but I want to show you a couple things on this Atom X Pro.
That's what I was going to ask you, like what makes the X Pro the Pro?
Well, it's got a few options on it. Number one, when I tilt this forward, it goes to a QR code.
Oh, yeah.
This QR code is there because this gauge not only tracks PSI, also temperature, so it'll measure your booth temp. It tells me how long I sprayed, so when I walk out of the booth, I can take that QR code, aim my phone at it in an app type way, and it uploads it to a dashboard. So it'll tell me the data. You just sprayed for 28 minutes on that job. The temperature was 92 degrees, in the booth. And what PSI did I spray at? It lets you know all that and puts that into tables. And so that part's pretty cool, so I can track that. But it also gives me the ability, you can see here, it shows the PSI. And in that PSI, I can change that to Celsius if I want. I can change the Fahrenheit. I can change this to bar if I want for the European painters. It changes the Fahrenheit to Celsius. But in this, I can go in and load on this what pressure I want my clear coat to be sprayed at, and then I adjust it to that. So if I say 26 pounds is the air pressure I'm going to use, if this thing gets above or below that 26 psi, it'll flash the number and let me know that I'm exceeding the pressure or I'm too low and I need to make an adjustment. It'll also alert me when temperatures change by 10 degrees or so. So if I get below 66 degrees Fahrenheit, it flashes and lets you know you might want to go to a fast reducer. If it gets over 86, it will alert you that you need to go to a slower reducer. And so there's so much that this thing is capable of.
That's incredible.
So that part's awesome. So that's a Digital Pro. I think this is everything that we've talked to here, everyone we've talked to, I think this is going to be one we're going to do the most with.
Can you talk a little bit about the sprayability? Because that kind of speaks to like some of the modern, the modern clear coats. I guess some of they're like the biggest reason for changing how they spray.
Right. So the biggest thing SATA first wanted to focus on was ergonomics. They made the gun lighter. They made it more comfortable. They made the trigger pull is extremely lightweight. Then we get to the atomization side, which is really critical. And so when we look at this fluid tip, and hopefully you can see this, but on this fluid nozzle, obviously more air holes, but we also have these slots around the outside edge, and those grooves around that also, they're there for a couple things. They let air go across that evenly, but it's also to make it so when the wrench goes on it, it doesn't slip and makes it easy to take the fluid tip out. But with this technology, they're calling it labyrinth design. So between the air cap and this fluid nozzle, air comes out and it does a U-turn and goes back down inside the recess at the end of the fluid nozzle, and then it comes out in a straight line and it takes all of that extra pressure out of it, so you get an extremely soft spray fan and turbulent free. So we eliminated the turbulence, but what the nozzle fluid tip and this air cap, new design, helps on the outside edge of the fan. So when you look off the top of your fan, you have a fade out zone. We eliminated all that texture out of that. We keep the droplets finer and more even and closer together, so that in that fade out zone, we don't get that texture that you're having to repaint over with each pass. So we're gonna have a smoother material laydown, easier metallic control, better clear coat laydown. So transfer efficiencies will improve, all of that kind of stuff, which is really important, and that's why I would want to upgrade to a different gun.
Can end up using less material too?
Yeah, absolutely. That's part of the process of making this. So yeah, it's a pretty amazing gun. You know, a little different for us to have the air micrometer measurement down here now, but that's awesome. It's got a built-in swivel, and that part of it's awesome. We're excited about it. A lot less moving parts. We don't have the air piston and behind the trigger anymore. So less to clean. That's all internal now. So less to get dirty, less to clean, easier maintenance. The surface is super easy to clean. So yeah, we're super excited about it.
And these are all available now?
No, they aren't available now. So good thing we asked. The digital ready and the basic will be available around February 1st. The digital portions, whether it's in just a regular Digital X or the Digital X Pro, we're hoping sometime in second quarter, because they have to go through the explosion-proof process. So they'll be able to buy the gun without the gauge earlier and then get the gauge later when it comes out. Yep.
Appreciate you talking to us about those new guns.
Awesome, thank you.